was the first thing created? Genesis. Light. How important is light? Very important. Okay? So, we know that. I love the book of John. The book of John is probably my favorite gospel because the feast days are in there.
Oh.
Okay? John gives the message always around the feast days. All right? But I'm not going to, well, I'm going to read some other important things. But in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with Elohim. This is John 1. And the Word was Elohim. It was in the beginning with Elohim. John's always going back to the beginning, right? All came through him, and without him not one came to be that came to be. In him was life, and life was light of men. And the light shined in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome, meaning there was change. When the light came, there was change. Okay? There was a man sent from Elohim, whose name was John. This one came for a witness to bear witness of the light, that all might believe through him. He was not the light, but that he might bear witness of the light. He was the true light, which enlightens every man coming into the world. He was in the world, and the world came to be through him, and the world did not know him. Okay? He came in his own did not receive him. But as many received him, to them he gave the authority to become children of Elohim, those believing in his name, who were born not of blood, nor of desire of flesh, nor desire of man, but of Elohim. Okay. So John was a witness of the light. And what are we supposed to be? A witness of that light, where the light is supposed to shine through us, because the world loves darkness. And so I love stories, and we're going to go to end of John chapter 7. Okay. So I have a picture of the temple that I can't show you. Okay. But it has a lot of doors. You have the outer temple walls, and there's doors there. And there's always guards. They had the temple guards. Remember who came and arrested Yeshua in the garden? Temple guards. And then they had guards around the holy place. So where they did sacrifices and where you went into the holy place. Because people can get out of hand. We know that, right? And so you got to have guards. All right. So in chapter 7, there's the chief priests are sending the guards to arrest Yeshua. But they can't, because it's not his time. Okay? They can't do that. So to set the stage here, what this is all about. Okay, verse 51 says, does not our Torah judge the man? This is the Pharisees talking to the guards. Does not our Torah judge the man unless it hears first from him and knows what he is doing? The guards. They answered to him, are you also from Galilee? Search and see that no prophet has ever risen out of Galilee. And each one went to his own house. Two statements that are important. One is they just lied. Okay? They just lied. They knew the Torah, they knew the prophets, and they said there's no prophet coming out of Galilee. Okay? Well, if you go back to Isaiah, and Isaiah chapter 8, okay, at the end of 8, now this starts different in the Torah readings. At the end of chapter 8, okay, Jeremiah's talking to the Israelites. They're going after other gods and so forth. And they shall look to the earth and see distress and darkness, gloom of hard times, and be driven into thick darkness. Okay? Again, prophecy is a pattern. What's happened back here will happen here. End times prophecy, believe it or not. But there is no gloom upon her who is in distress, as when at first he humbled the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali. And afterward more heavily oppressed her by the way of the sea beyond the Jordan in the Galilee of mountains. Okay, so Naphtali and Zebulun comes together right up there. They border each other, Galilee. Okay? More heavily oppressed her by the way of the sea beyond the Jordan, Galilee of the nations. The people who are walking in darkness have seen a great light. Where did Yeshua do his ministry? Galilee. Okay? Oppressed her by the way of sea beyond the Jordan, Galilee of the nations. The people who are walking in darkness have seen a great light. Upon those who dwell in the land of the shadow of death, a light has shone. A light has shone. It's talking about the menorah. Okay? And Yeshua, right? A light has shone. Okay. So, we see in Isaiah that they're wrong. All right. So, and each man went to his own house. Go to verse 1. And Yeshua went to the Mount of Olives. Okay? And Yeshua went to the Mount of Olives. Okay, there's a deeper reading here. Each man went to his own house, his own thinking, his own opinion, his own doctrine. But Yeshua went to the Mount of Olives. Where do you see Yeshua staying most of the time when he goes up to Jerusalem? In the Mount of Olives. That's where he was arrested. So Yeshua, again, what is it? How does that go? Foxes have holes, birds have nests. Son of man has no place to raise his head. Okay? So this is all very important. So he always is going to Mount Olives. And at dawn he came into the set-apart place, and all the people were coming to him, and having sat down, he was teaching them. And the scribes and Pharisees brought to him a woman caught in adultery, and having set her in the midst. They said to him, Teacher, this woman has caught in an act of adultery. And in the Torah, Moshe commanded us that such should be stoned. What then do you say? And they said this, trying him, so that they might accuse him. But Yeshua, bending down, wrote on the ground with a finger, as though he did not hear. What's the problem with this picture? Oh, the Torah says she's got to be stoned. So does the man. Okay? Watch out for ministries that are oppressing women. They're generally anti-Torah, anti-God. They can claim and they can praise Jesus, but when in the end, when a ministry is oppressing women, women have to do this, women have to do that. We wait just a minute. Okay, so, and where do they have prostitution going on? In the temple. Gosh, the Pharisees, some guy should have admitted it. Anyways, so he bends down and writes in the stand. All right, this is important. Have you ever asked what he wrote? Okay, he writes in the sand, right? So, bent down, wrote on the ground with a finger, as though he did not hear her. But as they kept on questioning him, he straightened up, and said to them, "He who is without a sin among you, let him be the first to throw a stone at her." And bending down again, he wrote on the ground. Okay, where do you see God writing two different times? And the mountain. What did he write? The 10 Commandments. 2 sets of stones, because Moses came down and broke the first one, because what was Yeshua had told in other scriptures? He told the Pharisees, you are just like your fathers. You're not even obeying the Torah. That's proof right there. They weren't even obeying the Torah. Single out the woman, but don't bring the guy. So he's writing the commandments on the ground right there. Okay? And he does it twice. And when they heard it being reproved, their conscience went out one by one, beginning from the older ones until the last. Why at the beginning of the older ones? They got it. They got it. Little guilt starts setting in, right? You drop your stone and you do this. And the younger guys are all there, man. They want to pitch. They want to throw a 900-mile-an-hour fastball, right? Because they don't know. So anyways, and Yeshua was left alone, and the woman standing in the middle. And Yeshua straightened up, seeing no one but the woman, said to her, "Woman, where are those accusers of yours? Did no one condemn you?" He always asks the right question. Okay? "No, my Lord." It says, "No one, Master," but "No, Lord." And Yeshua said there, "Neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more." Therefore, Yeshua spoke to them again, saying, "I am the light of the world. He who follows me shall by no means walk in darkness, but possess light of life." Okay? So there's where Yeshua says one of the great I ams. I am the light of the world. All right? So he didn't come into the world to condemn them, all right? But basically to bring light. All right? And so here he's confronted with this woman. He says, "Go and sin no more," and so forth. So the point is that he is the light of the world, and he brings light in us, and we're supposed to shine. Okay, just like if you shut off all the lights and you in the menorah in the temple lit that whole place up. I mean, it lit it up. And so, have you ever tried to do something in complete darkness? Darkness brings chaos. You cannot operate in darkness. There's so many times I had to operate by feel because something was wrong on the farm. You didn't have light. We didn't have the little fancy lights up here, and we couldn't turn on our cell phones. They weren't invented yet for lights. Flashlights were somewhere, no batteries in them. So there's no light. It's pitch black. And you got to feel on dark, dark nights. And you got to feel and try to put a bolt in or fix something. And it is just miserable and it's chaos. But see, that's men, our hearts. We love darkness. And we love darkness. Men love darkness. They're born into it. Sin. Okay? What's hell going to be like? It's going to be dark. There's going to be no light there. There's going to be weeping, gnashing of teeth. Okay? Hot, dark, the stench, because no one's going to smell. Because, remember, was it with Lot, with Sodom and Gomorrah? And the smell, was it that? Was it there that it talks about smell? What's that? Yeah, there's a place where the stench, it might be another prophet, one of the other prophets, the stench of sin. Okay, so it's going to smell. So anyways, he is the light, and we have to represent him, especially now as the world's getting darker, and it's getting darker. So we rejoice because of what Yeshua has done. And he brings us light. So I am the light of the world, but it surrounds the passage of the woman, okay, caught in adultery, and the Pharisees lied. Now, it wasn't see, here's what people got to understand. Okay, it says Jews in the Bible, but it was Judeans, the ones who were in control. The ones, there were two types of, there were Pharisees and Sadducees, but within the Pharisees, there were two types of Pharisee groups. Okay? The one group who was in charge was the different school that Yeshua was. Yeshua was in the school of Hillel, the same school that Paul was in. But there's two different schools, okay? Hey, Yeshua was raised in a Pharisee school. Okay, you send your kids to school or to school, and Yeshua, you got to think. So Yeshua is raised in that school. But where am I going with this? I have no idea. Okay, so, I know what I was going to say. So the Pharisees, why was Yeshua so hard on the Pharisees and the scribes? Because they knew better. They really did. And that's why, is it Paul that says in one of his letters, the leadership's going to be judged harder? The leadership's going to be judged harder? You're supposed to know better. And so, anyway, so he was always confronted them because they were always lying or saying half-truths. And that's what I love about this part where I am the light, because Yeshua brings the light into a dark situation. They were going to kill her because of a half-truth. Where's the guy? Yeshua says, no way. So.
He was probably one of the guys standing there.
That's just what I said. Why don't the guy step forward?
Yeah.
So anyways, praise the Lord.
The stench in the nostrils is in prophet Isaiah.
Okay.
But my translation doesn't use the stench. It says smoke, but it says it's like that these people are a stench in my nostrils.
Yeah, stench in my nostrils.
Okay, so.
Cool. All right.
Are we gonna dance now?
Okay, she's gonna sing another song or so, and then we're gonna dance, and then we're gonna go eat. All right. Shalom, everyone.
Happy Hanukkah! Hag Sameach! Hag Hanukkah
So,
Sameach!
the reason why I record this